This is Josiah Plays Tyranny. So we're still talking to Barrack. We've been talking to Barrack for a long time, but we're still talking to him. And I'm going to ask him this. What do you know of the Beastmen? They drilled us on Beastman combat before the invasion, but it did little to prepare us. The local savages are lacking in brains, hygiene. Okay, stop, Barrack. Full fucking stop. Slam the brakes. Back the fuck up. Hygiene, Barrack? Really? You're gonna talk about somebody else's hygiene? Really, Barrack? Because you're literally walking around with pants full of shit right now. Lacking in brains, hygiene, and the ability to arm themselves, yet the prime hunters of their species are formidable. Aside from being rapacious killers, the Beastmen make good haulers and laborers, once you've killed the half that won't follow orders. That's good. So we're enslaving indigenous peoples now, as well as murdering everybody and all that stuff. I'm depressed about his assessment of the tiers. I can't hear anymore. Enough about the tiers. As you like. You seem like a more than capable fighter. I trained with the spear and shield in my youth, but gave it up the day I earned disfavored iron. I can still throw with some accuracy, but it's a challenge these days. He knocks twice on his helmet. Why? Were you interested in a sparring session? Yeah. I can ask, show me how a northern... So this will give me thrown weapons. This will give me one-handed, probably. I might as well go with thrown weapons, because I'm more likely to use that than one-handed. Show me how a northerner would impale a wild boar. Because I have loyalty with him, he agrees. It would be my pleasure. This is a traditional hunting technique, but I have used it a time or two in the arena. Oh, two-handed weapons is what he trained me in. That's weird. Okay. Barrack demonstrates a clever move with a spear where he feints, baits the enemy by dropping the defense, and follows through by extending the weapon in a graceful plunge. He executes the maneuver several times, and you are taken aback by his grace. When you are finished, Barrack looks out into the northern horizon in thoughtful silence, saying no more. Connor was curious and not judgmental. Barrack is literally a shithead. Yeah, he is a shithead. I mean, both of these characters are fucking assholes. Like, grade A assholes. They're just different kinds of grade A assholes. Barrack's a Nazi, and Verse is a raving psychopath. A graceful shithead. Yeah, so graceful. Saying no more. What is it you have on your mind? Farewell. Now, can I talk to him about the armor thing?
My Lord Binder, what can I do for you?
I can. Let's talk to him about removing his armor. Would you like to discuss removing your armor? He looks at you for a very long time. His expression is unreadable as ever.
Though we are encouraged to couple and mate within the Legion, I don't consider you one of my cohorts. I think I'll decline.
Oh, he thinks I was hitting on him. Dude, no. I wouldn't touch you with somebody else's vagina. You nasty shit-smelling fuck. I wasn't talking about sex, Barrack.
You weren't? Forgive me, it's been some time since anyone made an advance, and I am long out of practice, as you can see.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to make an advance. You literally smell like shit. He knocks on his iron codpiece with a resounding clang.
Suffice it to say, my armor and I will not be separated for the time being. When the war is over, perhaps Tunon will lend me one of his forge-bound. Until then, here I remain.
Makes me Italian.
My armor saved me from the destruction of Stalwart, where thousands of others lost their lives. So you can see why I continue to wear it. For the time being, we will not be separated. Are
you comfortable in there? I have somehow developed enough calluses that I can sleep at night, but I wouldn't call that comfort, would you? This is my armor. It has everything it needs and more. Purpose, meaning, strength. If it were comfortable, that would only take away from its other qualities. That makes no sense, Barrack. How would that take away from its other qualities? That's dumb. To complete the axis. Yeah, I figured that's what you were trying to say. Do you even want it removed? I would not speak of this now, Fatebinder. Please, consider the topic closed. So I can force him, which will make him fear me, or I can talk to him in his own kind of terms, and he'll like me more. As your commander, I am concerned about the state of your uniform. Damn it! You are right to be concerned. My apologies that you needed to pull rank. It was wrong of me to withhold information. I don't need to tell you that this suit of junk is a literal pain in my ass. Half-broken, smelling of a midden, and perpetually jabbing thy side with some Kairos-be-damned caltrip. These dusty plates may not be up to standard, but they serve the disfavored well enough on the battlefield, if only to intimidate the enemy. Better for me to endure this condition than to shirk an advantage. Considering that I wore this as I marched across the bones of Stalwart, that was my burden growing heavier with each step. I have no desire to leave it behind. It's a lesson, a reminder, and yes, a prison. But all of those things make it something more. These plates have something of me in them. They are as wicked as a bramble patch, as stubborn as a fortress, and hopelessly flawed. Just like your worldview. Ladies, just so you know, Barrack is single. I know, I can't believe it. Can't believe it either, Societo. Yeah, this guy's a real catch. Real fucking catch. At present, removing my armor is not an option. If that ever changes, I suspect that the tiers will tremble with the impact of my collapsing fortification. What a day that will be. What does Graven Ash think of your predicament? I suspect that he doesn't. Not to besmirch the great general. He has larger matters to consider than any one soldier's woes. His shrug sends a puff of debris clattering to the ground. How long do you think it can last? The armor hasn't shown any sign of weakening, and my maintenance regimen is all that keeps it from rusting solid. Were I to stop applying oil and give in to entropy, this shell would harden to a degree that no forge master has ever seen. It would be hardened, dried shit holding it together. Yeah, they have his shit and torn skin permanently embedded in them. I think it could very well stand for as long as the old walls, with my skeleton peering out from the depths. And someday, not even that. Now, isn't that a cheery thought? Tell me more about what you can and can't do. I can strike fear into the hearts of our enemies and protect a shield wall with my very body. What more do I need? Here we go, we get into the serious questions. These are the questions that people want to know. The people want to know. I get to actually ask him about taking a shit. This is the first time in any role-playing game that I have had the option to ask one of my companions about how they take a shit. Next gen right here. Next gen. Game of the year. Game of the year. You get to ask the shit question. How do you vacate your bowels? Let us say I manage, and manage poorly. The parts of this misbegotten thing I can reach are in better repair than the ones I can't. In other words, he shits all over himself. Turn your nose now, but what if at some point he sheds and it comes out as a shining Hercules with 25 charisma? Well, you never know. How do you fare in water? Better to ask, how do I sink? The answer is quickly. Water passes my lips easily enough, though I take great care to keep it from anywhere else. How do you take pleasure from life? Inappropriate question time. Let's get some fear. Are we actually talking about this, Fatebinder? Do you have nothing better to do than wonder how I access my nether regions for a frenzied bout of self-interest? He's facepalming. Nice. Well, no, I guess I don't have anything better to do. I don't want to hear this. How do I even run far enough to avoid it? Verse plugs her ears and winces against the inevitable. Nice. She's got her fingers in her ears. Well, I can't, and not from lack of trying. My works are inaccessible from the outside, and much as I've tried to worm my arm out of this sleeve of iron, I would only succeed in dislocating my shoulder. If you ever think me frustrated or disagreeable, just imagine what I've dealt with since the 3rd year of the conquest. Or more accurately, what I haven't dealt with. Man, that would suck. Not only shitting on yourself all the time and pissing on yourself all the time, and constantly being itchy and gross under your unremovable armor and not being able to scratch, but also, what happens when he gets an erection? I mean, how bad of a day is that for him? Oh, God. That's gotta suck. Gotta be painful. Back to my other questions about your armor. Go on, then. I'm only getting rustier standing here entertaining your curiosity. Actually, let's talk of something else. I am only too eager to move on. So I think we're done talking for now. Let us speak of something else. We'll talk later. So finally we're done talking to Barrack. That only took like an hour and 40 minutes or something. Next gen RPG experience right here. Yeah, for reals though. For reals.
At your service, Fate. What do you need?
Does she have anything
What did you have in mind?
Alright, we're done talking to companions for now. Cool. We've got some nice friendship going with our companions. That loyalty's really high. Really high with both of them, actually. Fear is getting up there. Fear is coming up this way. We actually have quite a bit of loyalty with Ab as well. Alright. You know, given all the shit Barrack has to put up with, metaphorical and literal, I can almost forgive him for being an unrepentant racist, except for the fact that it's obvious that he was just as much of an unrepentant racist before this thing happened with the armor. Alright. Let's see. Salvaros we've talked to. We've collected the loot. We've talked to Death Knell. We can't talk to them yet.
No dice.
Come over here. And collect a sundered bronze sword. These spears are brittle and rusted. Watch yourself, Fatebinder. The stench of piss and fecal matter emanate from this tent, one clearly not used for rest. Ew, gross. It's the Barrack of tents. Somehow that makes Barrack even sadder. He's in a guy in a bad state you can't even have real sympathy for. Yeah. Poor Barrack. He definitely reminds me of a Planescape Torment character. Because he's got the Torment part. Water. See what else is over here. Quiet Shiv. Oh, we talked to Quiet Shiv outside. She's the one that we pissed off. Reg and Baz. Those would be the trainers and the resting tent.
Sorry, I can't.
Loot. A fish. Let's talk to Quiet Shiv over here. She's probably really pissed at this still. Go away! I have nothing to say to you! Never drank water and been like, wow, I feel way more resolved to do stuff now. I have, when you're really dehydrated. Like, when I've gone hiking, when I've gone on really long, steep, difficult hikes, and you haven't drank any water for a while, and you're really dehydrated from sweating a shitload, and you drink some fucking water, it definitely, like, makes you feel recharged to keep going.
Sorry, I can't.
Or, like, when I was in prison, I used to
Can't
play
do
basketball
that.
all the time.
Sorry,
Sometimes
I
I'd go out
can't.
and I'd play basketball for hours some days. And I wouldn't go in and take any breaks to drink water or anything. So maybe I've been playing basketball outside for several hours in the sun, in the summer, and then I would come in and my whole face and arms and everything would literally be coated with salt. I would have dried salt coating my skin because of all the sweat and the salt from the sweat just like collecting on my skin. And I would be so thirsty, and I would come in and I would go to the drinking fountain and I would just sit there and drink water like crazy. And I would say I could actively feel that fucking water giving me resolve in those instances.
Can't do that.
Ooh, let's pick a
Wasn't
lock.
so hard.
Heart of Battle. What's this?
Sorry, I
That
can't.
sounds cool. Okay, hold on. Let's check out what we got. Sundered Bronze Sword. Ooh, it's got lore. The Heart of Battle. Minus 10% recovery time while has wounds. While has wounds? Is this like some fucking internet speak? I can has cheeseburger? This dagger is shaped by hands eager to wield it, and some of that intentionality seems to have bled into the crafting, so it's a fine dagger plus 15 accuracy. That's kind of amazing. Hold on a second. If she switches to this, she gets every possible benefit. She gets faster recovery time, way more accuracy, and more damage. Or more DPS, anyway. So she's going to wield this dagger. He could also wield it. But I'd rather let her wield it. And then he could wield this parrying sword. Raise his parry even higher. Up to 62. She's going to hold on to this other sword. Then I've got the Sundered Bronze Sword, which sucks. And yeah, it also sucks for that, but maybe she'll hold on to it too in case she wants to dual wield. No. I'll sell it. Alright, we're going to talk to Baz and Reg. So you share Barry's experience of being covered in your body's dried up secretions, huh? Well, I think everyone's had that experience. Unless they've managed to go through their life without ever sweating to any significant degree, working outside all day, or exercising for a long time, or just walking outside in the heat for a long time. And everybody's had that experience. You must have lived a very lazy and sheltered life, anybody who has never been covered in their body's dried up secretions. But I do have a significant amount of experience with it, I guess. And you know what? I don't mind it so much. It feels good in a weird sort of way. All right, let's talk to Reg and Baz. Well, look who we have here. Chewing on some manner of cud. Uh-oh, Nox Moo. Where's Nox Moo at? We got us a ruminant here. Chewing on cud. A heavy-set soldier flings spittle and crumbs as she talks. The fate binder finally shows herself. I'm Reg. The second soldier chimes in. And this is Baz. We were wondering when you might pay the camp a visit. The Fifth Eye has been a little starved for attention. He ordered us to watch you like a troublesome babe. Make sure you don't get out of line. Baz knits her fingers together, joints crackling as she smiles. Reg clears his throat loudly, scowling at Baz. Something like that. If you have questions, ask us. Good luck finding anyone else in camp who will give you answers or even a smile. So, anything we can do for you? What do you know about Vendrian's well? The walls might seem imposing, but the Vendrian Guard do a better job of hiding its weaknesses than fixing them. She shrugs. We took the Citadel once before, we can take it again. We have to, don't we? Reg looks up at the imposing tower of the spire. Though Kairos knows I don't want to stay any longer than necessary. Although I think part of the reason why I shed so much salt when I sweat is because I take lithium. Because I think I've noticed times when I wasn't taking lithium, that didn't happen so much. Or maybe at all. And all the times I can think of when that did happen a bunch were times I was on lithium. So that could be part of it. That could have affected the balance of salt in my body or whatever. I don't know. Or I could just be making that up right now. I have no idea. What am I, a fucking doctor? Fifth eye, huh? So both eyeglasses and a monocle. I guess so. She follows his gaze and shakes her head. You should know better than to parade your cowardice before the Fatebinder. It's not cowardice, it's just superstition. Are you afraid of the spire? Sorry, Fatebinder, I shouldn't have mentioned anything. He sighs. The fact of the matter is, we were told to stay away from spires and old walls ever since we were babes. Of all the dumb childhood lessons that fell by the wayside, that one stayed the same. You going to bed, Saito? Alright. Have a good night. Thanks for coming by and chatting as always. I'll see you later, whenever you come back by again. I will still be streaming, 10 or 12 hours from now, probably, so you may come back and catch me after you sleep. Who knows? Have a good one. Imagine a soldier of the chorus pissing himself over architecture. More like what's underneath it. Reg frowns. The Bane lurk around those old sites and kill anything they can catch unawares. I've no wish to meet the Bane in combat unless there are 100 blood chanters at my back. She twists her lip into a frown as she considers this. Me neither, I suppose. What can you tell me about Fifth Eye? Reg trades an uncomfortable glance with Baz and lowers his tongue to a whisper, lowers his voice to a whisper. They say he shares a direct link with the voices of Nerat. Guard your tongue around him. He's a little... wild? Bloodthirsty? Mad? Baz thinks for a moment. Brilliant. Reg flinches and glances over his shoulder. I was going to say eccentric. The chorus isn't picky about who joins the ranks. You can expect to find some unusual types. Most are as likely to kill you as promote you. Tell me about your time in the Scarlet Chorus. Reg and I were conscripted at the Gates of Judgment. He used to fight for Aachen, me for Azure. Baz chuckles, sketching her chin in thought. How many fights we survived so far? 11. Reg begins to count in series across his fingers. No, 14. I count each day and sunder separately. Chorus is... Baz looks about the camp and shrugs. Not as bad as it smells. The strong, like me and Reg, we're allowed to take what we want. What we deserve. We live only as well as our strength affords us, as it should be. Tell me about yourself, Reg. He scratches the back of his head at a loss for words. I had a family, a farm, then the chorus came and, well, now I have the chorus. Priorities change when you hear screams in the night and feel a blade pressed to your neck. Things like farms or families don't seem as important. I used to have nightmares thinking about the culling. What's the culling? When the Scarlet Chorus conscripts a village, they hold a ceremony known as the culling. Every able-bodied man, woman, and child is given a weapon and forced to fight their family and friends to the death. Those who survive are deemed strong enough and free from old ties to join the army of the voices of Nerat. We already read this, I think. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. They've got to kill their family and friends. It's like the Super Hunger Games. Felt awful remembering how I hacked my ma and dad to bits just so I could survive. Wow, dude. That is pretty fucked up, Reg. Reg's eyes, shadowed for a moment with sorrow, take on a feverish gleam. The Fifth Eye heard me howling one night, pulled me out of the Horde, and took an interest in me. Now I'm studying magic, calling fire for nothing. If my ma and dad could see me now, they'd be so proud. Yeah, if you hadn't hacked them to death. God, all these people are so fucking evil. Tell me about yourself, Baz. I was a sellsword at the beck and call of fat merchants. Just another dented face in the crowd. After too many years of spilling blood in local skirmishes, I realized that I was only killing time. Then Cairo showed me a better way. Unity. Purpose. Now I fight for something, not just someone. Been watching the Scarlet Furies practicing my blade work. Not good enough to join them yet, but I bet I could show you a thing or two. Baz, let's see what you can teach me. Let's dance, Binder. She can teach bows, dual wield, and unarmed. Okay, so I don't want to ever train with Baz. We've determined that. Favor 1. Baz spits a wad of chewed bread into her open palm. These rations are foul. Taste it. Can't tell if it's poison or mold. Yeah, I'm not gonna taste that. Thanks, though. I heard that our watches spotted a disfavored scalp by the grain stores. You don't think... I feel fine. Maybe it's an herb to slow my hand in battle. Sabotage is a coward's weapon. Maybe it's just gone bad. Seeing you, Reg pockets his ration without taking a bite. Fate Binder? So, anything we can do for you? Reg, show me what the Fifth Eye has been teaching you. We'll make this valley burn! Or he can teach lore. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is what I am here for, is some free lore teaching. Alright. These two are not going to train in subterfuge or lore or any of that. We need to take Verse back up to the other camp to train her with the other trainer. Alright, so we're done with those folks, Reg and Baz and all that. Small marks have been painted onto this corpse, marking certain body parts as more difficult targets than others. Oh, they're actually using dead bodies strung up as their, like, archery targets or whatever. These threadbare tents show signs of hard use and long-term exposure to the elements. Who's this guy? Snigler Dagos. Oh, we got some boots and a hammer. Please, hammer, don't hurt him. Tell me about these boots. I gained some armor, some slash, I lose some recovery. No, okay. She would lose a bunch of deflection. He can't switch to any other boots, so we're gonna sell those boots. And we've got a bronze hammer here. Not gonna use that. He might use the bronze hammer though. No, he's not gonna use the bronze hammer either. That's very environment friendly, good for them. Using the dead body for a target dummy, you mean? Snigler Dagos. Alright, there's Fifth Eye. We know we need to talk to him, but we're saving him for last. I think we've already done everything else on this map that we can do.
They won't see me coming. I'll be your shadow.
You'll be my shadow.
I'll stay downwind of our enemies.
He knows that he's a stinky fuck.
I'll stay downwind of our enemies.
Sorry, I can't.
Slow and steady.
Can't do that.
He knows that he's a stank-ass motherfucker. Let's see. He's that far from level. I'm very close to level 3. Barrack is not close to level 3. Alright, let's talk to Snigler Dagos because his name is Snigler Dagos. Wait, what do we have here? Oh, I know what this is. It's a scroll. A scroll sits here glowing with mystical energy. Read the scroll, 32 lore. Gained some lore, and I learned the Sigil of Illusion, which is pretty great. Those who master the Sigil of Illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery, using its powers to misdirect and confuse their targets at critical moments. Often derided by combat mages for its inability to kill outright, those who specialize in illusion know its powers can turn the tide of any battle. It merely requires someone smart enough to know how to use it. Okay. So I've got 3 options for this. I can do Spectral Blur, which gives you a ton of deflection, which is great. Really great. I can do distant impact, false pit. Wait, hold on. Mask the target in a blurred illusion, making them harder to hit. Right, so that's pretty good. False pit. Conjure the illusion of an endless black pit below the target, convincing them that they are falling to their death. The enemy is left prone until they can make sense of the illusion. I like that. That's a nice long prone. Or I can do mirror image. Allied target. 100 dodge and 100 parry until damaged. Ooh. Create duplicate illusions around a target, granting a significant bonus to parry and dodge. However, each time the target is struck, this bonus is reduced. Oh, I need some of these spells. I need them in my life. Alright. Let's, Alright, mirror image. Nobody's gonna be able to cast that shit. Except for her. So let's see, what can I can I increase the, no, that takes 75. Can I do that? No, that takes, I can do that, it makes it 70 with a 6-meter range. Makes it 80. Alright, so we're gonna use this instead of Electric Jolt, I think. No, instead of Rhyme Spike. And then False Pit, I really want that as well. Lore required 30. Let's see, I could change the duration. I could make it an AoE. Radius of 2 meters. I can improve the range. I can improve the intensity. Alright, well, let's increase the duration and the intensity and the range. No, that's 75. Alright, we're going to increase those things. The intensity and the duration. And we're going to assign this here instead of Electric Jolt. So we've got False Pit, Mirror Image, Grounding Core, and Titan's Touch. And then she is going to get Spectral Blur instead of Searing Palm, I think. And wait, can she get a better version of this? Takes 30. Longer duration. Takes 35. And her Frozen Grasp, can we do anything with that? $40. 30. Duration. Intensity. 35. And then his Frozen Grasp. He's not going to use Frozen Grasp. He's going to use Touch of Atrophy. Got 26 lore. 30, 25. 35. Got Touch of Atrophy, and he's going to do Sigil of Illusion as well. No, not that one. Not that one. This one. Costs 15. That takes 30. I don't need range. I can't put anything else on it, so... Alright, good. Spells are assigned. Spells are assigned. We've got a lot of core sigils for this early in the game. We've got 6 already. Pretty awesome. Alright, now it's time to speak to Fifth Eye and actually advance our main quest here, finally, after having been here for how many hours? Time to talk to Fifth Eye. Wait, we still haven't talked to Snigler Dagos. Hold on, we talked to Snigler Dagos first. Upon noticing your approach, the merchant straightens his posture and smiles. What an honor! The name's Snigler Dagos, originally from the relative tranquility of the Northern Empire. I've since accepted a nomadic life for the sake of keeping Kairos' forces supplied with only the finest goods, local and imported. Let me see your wares. He winces a little. It's not much, but let me know if you see anything that piques your interest. He's got a ripper. Ooh, look at this dagger. Oh, it's not a dagger, it's like javelin. Causes bleeding on crit. Gore-encrusted barbs line the head of this spear. Whoever shaped this javelin wanted to send a message to everyone on the battlefield who had no desire to find themselves impaled on its serious end. So that's pretty cool. A blood chanter staff. Does fire damage. A bronze dagger. How does that compare? It's exactly like her Heart of Battle, except hers has Frenzy. Wait, what is that frenzy? Oh, it's the recovery time while has wounds. This dagger is better than his Red Rivers, but then he loses the minor parrying bonus. What about this armor? This armor is pretty good for me. It's not particularly better what she's wearing there. Horde boots. Horde boots are nice, but can I even afford to buy any boots or anything right now? Not really. Scarlet Fury gloves. Okay, Scarlet Fury helm. Like, these things would take up almost all my money right now, so I don't think I should buy any of them. A Fire Eye Stone is an accessory. It gives you plus 10 control fire. That's pretty sweet. This rock glows with warmth trapped from the Edict of Fire. How it contains the heat without being consumed is a mystery, but it's very expensive. Oh, scrolls! Holy shit. I want to know what happens if I use a Sigil of Vigor scroll when I already know Sigil of Vigor. I need to find out. I'm going to buy it. I just quick saved. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to use it. I can't use it. Okay, well, we're not going to do that then. So my quiet has gotten very chat. What does that even mean? My chat has gotten very quiet ever since Saito left. Animus stopped talking. Everybody else is gone. All right, Snigler. All right, so I don't need the vigor because I've got it. Lesser Sigil of Precise Action increases the accuracy of a spell. Sigil of Channeled Strength. Spells... Oh, that gives me the cone. Staggering Burn. Staggering Burn envenoms injured foes, dealing substantial damage over time. Scarlet Fury has developed this poison, specifically targeting enemy soldiers who abandon combat to tend to their wounds. Over time, any flesh exposed to the poison necrotizes, an affliction that spreads and may require invasive removal. The only caveat is that the poison doesn't easily take to the victim's blood, and requires a particularly vicious injury to deliver with any success. Oh, it's only on crit. I see. Back from the Band Pit. How you doing? What's going on back from the Band Pit? Scarlet Poison. We've read about their signature venom. Alright, let's see. What am I selling? Let's talk about what I'm selling first. I'm selling that, and that, that, and that, and that, and that, and that. All of that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Oh, look how much money I just made. Now I've got big monies. Big monies. So let's buy these 2 scrolls. And I think I'll save the rest of the money for right now. I just sold them these bracers. Alright, we're going to save the rest of the money. But that means we have to fuck around with our spells again. Sigil of Precise Action. Sigil of Channeled Strength. gain some more lore. Alright. Fucking around with spells again. What do we get with the cone? Surge of Glory. An allied AoE plus 30% damage for 20 seconds, plus 2 resolve for 20 seconds. Conjure a wave of invigorating energy. Affected allies gain a bonus to resolve and damage dealt. Ooh, that's nice. I think I'd rather have that than False Pit. What can I add to it? Accuracy? Intensity? Intensity's nice. Range? Size of AoE? Bigger cone. Duration? Duration would be good. Let's add duration. And can't do intensity. Let's do duration and range. Put it right there. Okay, Surge of Glory is cool. Atrophy, I can do a Crippling Coil. Send forth snake-like coils of crippling energy to nearby enemies. Affected enemies are rooted and have random beneficial effects removed. That's cool, but I'm not going to use it right now. Sigil of Fire. Ooh, Flash Fire. Conjure a flash of flames that burns nearby enemies. Foes are interrupted and left burning. So that makes a fire cone, like Burning Hands or whatever. Pretty nice, but I'm not going to use that right now. Lightning Cone. Fulmination. Shock. More shock. Extra shock damage taken. Release several waves of electrical energy, charging enemies with shock vulnerability. Following the final wave, unleash an all-contained energy upon foes in a violent surge of power. That sounds badass for, like, damage dealing. But, again, I'm not going to use it right now. Frost Cone. Icicle Storm. Shoots out 7 projectiles. Frost damage. Unleash a spray of icy shards in a cone. Each hit pierces the target's armor and deals frost damage. That's really tempting. Illusion Cone does Unravel Minds. Raw damage, dazed and stunned. Cone. Overwhelm the minds of nearby foes, stunning and dazing them. Pretty badass. But I'm going to stick with all the buffs. She's a buffer. And these two can't use any of these cones because they don't have enough lore. I don't think there's much reason to put accuracy on this. Or this. Or this. But there might be a reason to put accuracy on this. But she doesn't have enough lore. He doesn't have enough lore for that. Alright, so that's it for now. That is it for now. I think we're good to go. Surge of Glory. Mirror Image, Grounding Core, and Titan's Touch. Spectral Blur. Maybe he should have his own Titan's Touch. No, we'll go with Touch of Atrophy. 30. 40. She doesn't have enough. Okay. Cool.
Right.
We have so many sigils. It's amazing. So many sigils. Okay. Now it's actually time to talk to Fifth Eye, finally. Finally time to talk to Fifth Eye.
Binder of Tunon arrives!
Squealing with teenager's timber, the Fifth Eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim.
And we just finished having a bit of sport with some captives. But worry not, we'll have more fun with another batch momentarily.
Dressed in the bronze-red regalia of the Crimson Spears, the Fifth Eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-spattered glove.
Now that you have issued this edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out of this hole?
Chirps of laughter emanate from under his mask. How has the camp responded to the edict?
With mewling, bawling, the occasional orgy, frequent vomitus.
A shrill, tittering laughter escapes from under his mask.
The bloodlust is there, but so is the fear of failure. Should our glorious horde fail to overrun the Citadel, we will surely all perish. I mean, I don't see the disfavored pulling their weight.
Not here to follow your every order, but we all need to work together to stop this edict.
But of course, you are Tunan's concubine, not mine. I envy your long leash and hope you will grace us with your prowess, if only to set an example for the rabble. We know the Oathbreakers are focused in the Citadel beneath the mountain spire, but we have learned this is not their only nest.
The Fifth Eye wags a hand in the air with a high-pitched squeal of displeasure.
Given their pattern of attacks, they must have a second group maintaining camp here in the Outer Valley. And unless we deal with this second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river.
Remain silent. Of how large a force for all these weeks? The disfavored think you can't control your horde, and that many are defecting back to the Vendrian God.
Wrong! And perhaps...
He gestures with his spear in an arc toward the sprawling camp.
It is no mean feat to herd this many desperate lives. For every 2 hands of humanity, there is at least 1 finger that snaps from the stress of our ways. A few have been lost on the margins, I won't deny that. But if you store grain, expect some rat feces. If you lead killers, expect some desertion.
Alright, so they don't exactly have the highest standards here. You have how large a force, and for all these weeks, you've let the enemy move freely through the valley?
I'm hurt. Insult my manners or maturity, but do not insinuate that I sit idle when there's blood to be shed.
The Crimson Spear claps his fists together.
We have dealt with countless Oathbreakers, but one group remains at large despite our best efforts. Captain Pelox's crew consistently evades or kills our own gangs.
So you need help taking out these Oathbreakers.
And while a good old-fashioned slaughter would be an efficient solution, the smarter answer is not to kill them, but to add their strength to ours. My last group of scouts returned with a new batch of prisoners, and one of these prisoners claims she can lead us to the Vendrian Guard's secondary camp, though there are shreds of deception in her voice. I could use your help questioning this Varia Kell. Perhaps you would get less screams and tears, and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try and take their captain, and show him the wisdom of joining the chorus.
Why not ask the Archon of Secrets? Speak with the prisoner. I don't belong to Archon Nerat. I don't belong to Archon Nerat. What's my help worth?
You wound me, Fatebinder!
The Fifth Eye places his hand over his chest, feigning the start of a swoon.
And I thought the joy of working for the illustrious Archon of Secrets would be reward enough. But you'd need to be missing half your head to think an expert works for free. Tell me, what will make this worth your while?
Faithful service, an honest wage. My price is knowledge. My price is knowledge. The Archon of Secrets knows a great deal of magic, does he not?
Are you sure I can't interest you with pleasure slaves instead?
I'm sure. The fifth eye taps his finger to his masked chin, a high-pitched groan of contemplation emanating from under the mask.
I agree with your conditions. I will share with you some Blood Chanter lore, but I will need time to prepare parchment, and such things will have to wait until the Oathbreakers are silenced, and we are no longer forced to act by this edict.
Alright, so I can't get it till later, in other words. I will speak with the prisoner.
I will meet you there. She is waiting by the other prisoners.
Alright. Taking the Outer Valley. Interrogate Variah. The Fifth Eye believes that the rebel captive Variah in the Scarlet Chorus camp might have crucial information about rebel movements in Tripnettle. He would like you to interrogate her while he observes. Alright, so now we gotta interrogate a prisoner, apparently. Apparently we got to interrogate a prisoner.
Wireman, let the Fatebinder speak with our catch of the day.
Very well, Fifth Eye. You may approach the prisoner. Alright, so let's quick save again. The Fifth Eye, commander of the local Scarlet Chorus, surveys his camp. Watching in stillness as all manner of violence and revelry occur around him, he offers a slight nod at your approach. Oh, I can ask him about all kinds of shit right now.
Is there anything else?
What is your role in the chorus?
While the whole of the chorus remains loyal to the voices of Narat, I am truly the most loyal.
His voice becomes wistful.
Oh, so loyal of his numerous warriors.
He's a Crimson Spear, part of the Archon's inner circle. Dozens of the strongest gang bosses answer to him, and from there, the orders trickle down to the rest of the army. So the Crimson Spears are like the equivalent of the Disfavored's Iron Guard.
I am the Archon's martial retainer and humble servant. I am his eyes and his ears.
Actually, you're just one of his eyes. The fifth one.
But also his mouth, for I speak with his authority when he is absent.
He twirls his flanged spear in his hand, and then slams it against the ground.
And I am his killing edge when the rabble is moved to war.
Good thing you mentioned loyalty twice. Now I'm really convinced. The Fifth Eye stares at you. Arms folded, he says nothing. When did you take the vows of the chorus?
Unlike most of the conscripts here, I did not need a cudgel against the head to see the wisdom of the Archon of Secrets. I proudly joined the chorus in its nascent days, left my home in Bastard City to join with the incoming chorus, and the rest is glory and history. These days, you follow the chorus or die. We who chose the path and killed to defend our place are the old guard. Even if it's been 2 or 3 years, the chorus has a short memory. She nods to the Fifth Eye with grudging respect. I love it when my companions speak up as I'm talking to people. I wanted to ask these other questions, though. Did you ask for this honor? I did not have to. The voices of Narat saw the need inside of me, and through his arcane ministrations burnt away the clinging, cloying parts of me that foolishly resisted his enlightenment.
Disgusting as I may find this creature, the Fifth Eye is not the only one who has suffered changes in the service of this war.
No, indeed, you ironclad behemoth.
He looks Barrack up and down with interest.
Have you ever considered jumping ship and enlisting with the chorus? With strength like yours, we could have you leading a decorated gang in your first week.
If I ever jumped ship, it would only be to sink to the bottom of the waves, beyond the reach of you and your parasite of an Archon. Are all of the Crimson Spears as odd as you?
I would not ask you to speak of the other Fatebinders. I will not speak for the other Crimson Spears.
He's odd as fuck because he's an eye, not because he's a Crimson Spear. The Spears are a cold, determined bunch.
eyes are a breed apart, owning a fraction of the Archon of Secret's madness.
So the eyes are the crazy motherfuckers, the craziest of the crazy.
Let's speak of something else. Certainly, Fatebinder. What can you tell me about Ascension Hall? At the center of Vendrian's Well, at the base of the mountain spire.
He points to the northeast, where the spire cuts a vertical line rising above all other mountains in the horizon.
Is a small fortification. Ascension Hall is the name of this citadel's inner council chamber. We had left a garrison when this valley was first taken, in 429, with the citadel being their base of operations. When the Oathbreakers staged their revolt, the garrison at Ascension Hall was defeated. Makes sense that Kairos' edict would demand that we burn this rebellion back to its point of origin. What do you know of the disfavored commander? Iron Marshal Arrhenios is a doting warrior, just like the Archon of War. She's one of a few select disfavored, cautious and cowardly enough to be trusted with the Archon's iron toddlers. No doubt her primary qualifications include being related to Ash. The Legion's little big into its pedigree, if you catch my drift.
So he's suggesting that it's all about nepotism. But she seemed pretty qualified from when I talked to her. And what I read about in the lore. Iron toddlers, he says. Keep insulting my commander and I'll slap that mask off your face. Not that I'm eager to see what's inside. Let's see. I can tell Barrack to stand the fuck down. I can complain at the fifth eye, which Barrack will like, but the chorus will dislike. Or I can fucking give a lecture to both of them, and they both dislike it. I'm gonna tell Barrack to calm his shit. Stand down, Barrack. I'm addressing the fifth eye. We'll get some more fear with Barrack. Up to fear 2 with Barrack. If you don't need my counsel, then I'm happy to keep it to myself. I'm not much for talking under the best of circumstances, and this doesn't even nearly qualify. Shut up, shit-smelling Kana.
Though I am loath to speak highly of her, I cannot deny she's a brilliant swordsman, and the others disfavored seem to take her seriously, despite the serious stick that's propped up her backside.
Well, the stick up the backside seems to apply to all the disfavored.
Who's the strongest in your camp? I am, naturally, says Verse. Well, the Archon is, without question, the mightiest in camp. Deathnell is the master trainer here, and she's almost tough enough to take me. She's a biter. Don't tell her I told you that, but she can be trusted to fight and lead. And while her humility is lacking, Verse is correct. She's been running with the Furies even longer than Deathnell. Too bad that skill and puissance did nothing to save her sisters.
Sounds like you're insulting my friend. No humility, I like that in a fighter. What happened to her sisters? We already know what happened to her sisters. She already told us the story.
Sounds like you're insulting my friend here. Did I detect a hint of fighting words in your voice? Then I must have spoken in error. I meant no offense. I wished only to convey that Verse is a true survivor, an embodiment of the kind of grit that Chorus reveres. So kind of you to step in and protect my honor that way, because I'm clearly incapable of speaking for myself.
So Verse did not appreciate that. She didn't dislike it enough to actually gain fear or lose loyalty, but she wasn't thrilled.
Is there a reliable quartermaster or peddler in camp?
Well, we already met Snigler Dagos.
Talk to Snigler Dagos. He's wise enough not to steal from you, and he'll only cheat you a little bit. He's right over there.
He points nearby to the east.
But he has the important honor of arming. Trying to arm. all my merry little conscripts. So don't expect Kairos' army or anything.
Alright, we've already talked to Snigler Dagos. That's all I need from Fifth Eye. Farewell. Alright, so next, we will actually talk to... Can I talk to Lantry?
Let's deal with Variah before we let that sage speak.
Alright, so we need to talk to Variah Kell next. That's what's actually going to happen here. So, we will do so in our next episode. If you're watching the stream, don't worry, I am not stopping. I'm going to keep on streaming for a long time. I've been streaming for 15 hours now, and I'm going to stream for 9 more, doing a 24-hour stream, so I'm going to stream for 9 more hours of Tyranny. But if you're watching on YouTube, that is going to bring us to the end of this episode. So thanks for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Tyranny.